Hello, do you have excess gas? Pain, cramps, or feeling distended or bloated? That's what today's video is about, how to get rid of gas or bloating. I'll also talk about when excess gas is considered, what the main causes of gas are, and why some gases are more smelly than others. Well, stay tuned. But first, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on our health tips, and share this video with as many people as possible via WhatsApp, Facebook and Telegram. For most people. So share there. And tell me, do you suffer from excessive gas or bloating? Want to improve this? Let's go how our gas is formed. In two ways, the normal process of digestion and swallowing air. The digestion process will form gases. Especially the bacteria in the large intestine that help digest food. Anaerobic bacteria form methane gas and aerobic bacteria form carbon dioxide. And depending on what you ate, sulfide and sulfur and other gases can be formed. But it's not just bacteria. When you swallow air by eating too quickly, drinking, talking while eating, chewing gum, smoking, or drinking soda or other carbonated beverages, the air can either go down the digestive tract with the food or back up and be expelled through the mouth like belching. So gas is a result of what you eat and how you eat. Not everyone will get gas from the same foods. How much gas does our body produce on average? Normally an adult person releases about 14 to 20 gases per day, up to 25 times being considered normal. It's a common occurrence, but it can often be embarrassing or painful. What foods are most likely to cause gas? Beans. Beans are extremely nutritious and have soluble fiber that can lower cholesterol. But excessive gas production, sometimes with the added discomfort of bloating, is why many people avoid eating beans. Beans contain carbohydrates that our digestive system cannot break down because we lack an enzyme called alpha-galactosidase. And that also goes for lentils, peas, cruciferous foods like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. Since we can't digest them, there will be fermentation. On the one hand, it is good for health, but on the other hand, it forms gases, often with a bad smell. And an interesting tip in the case of beans is that if you leave the beans immersed in water overnight, then drain the water, wash and cook in fresh water, you can reduce the oligosaccharides, reducing the production of gases. And using a pressure cooker also reduces even more. Other foods besides beans that I just mentioned, vegetables such as broccoli, cabbage, onions, sorbitol-containing fruits such as prunes, pears, apples, and peaches, dairy products, especially if you are lactose intolerant, whole grains, soft drinks, processed foods, artificial sweeteners, protein and fat tend to cause less gas than carbohydrates. Some proteins, such as egg, can make gas smell stronger. As you may have noticed, many foods. Also choose foods that contain easily digestible carbohydrates, such as potatoes, rice, lettuce, bananas, grapes, oranges and yogurt. And sometimes you have to eat smaller meals or eat less of those foods that give you a lot of gas. Why do some farts smell worse than others? Most gases are odorless. Smelly gas can be caused by several factors, some vegetables rich in sulfur such as broccoli, cabbage. Sulfur is a natural compound that smells like rotten eggs. Or you may also have a food intolerance. For example, people with lactose intolerance cannot break down lactose, which will be fermented by bacteria in the gut. Or celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease where there is an immune response to the gluten protein, leading to intestinal inflammation, malabsorption and flatulence, diarrhea and weight loss. The bad smell could be due to a bacteria or virus you picked up, or an antibiotic you took. Also in cases of constipation the feces will stay in the intestines for a long time and the odor will increase, and in cases of bowel cancer. Could excess gas be a warning that there is another disease behind it? He can. If your diet doesn't contain a lot of carbohydrates and you don't swallow a lot of air, your gas could be caused by a medical condition. Gastroenteritis, lactose intolerance, irritable colon syndrome, hepatic steatosis, Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, diabetes, celiac disease, pancreatitis, dumping syndrome, gastroesophageal reflux, ulcers and even cancer. Eat slower and chew better. Most of the gas in your body comes from the air you've swallowed and not from bacteria in your gut. When you eat fast, you swallow a lot more air than when you eat slowly. And eating fast will also make you want to eat more. Pay attention to food, try to chew more often. And, of course, eat while doing other things. Second tip, avoid soft drink sodas, sparkling water, beer. They won't just make you burp. Many of these bubbles will pass through the entire digestive tract. Third tip, if you smoke, stop smoking every time you bring a cigar you swallow air. In addition, cigarettes increase the risk of mouth, stomach, intestine, lung cancer. Stop now. Fourth tip, avoid chewing gum. When chewing gum, you swallow much more air than not chewing. If you have excess gas, avoid chewing gum as it will improve a lot. And now, let's go to the tips for you to produce less gas or eliminate more. Fifth tip, reduce the foods that produce gas from the list I mentioned. One or some may be to blame for excess gas. And I said that many are part of a healthy diet. You probably won't need to completely cut these foods out of your diet, but you can eat less of them. Sixth tip. Make sure you don't have food intolerances. You can do this by asking your doctor for blood tests or by eliminating certain foods from your diet. Do you think you have lactose intolerance? Cut out milk, cheese, yogurt and all dairy products and see what happens. Improved? Then you probably have an intolerance or an allergy. It didn't get better, so that's not it. The same you can do with gluten. Cut bread, cookies, cakes, pizza, pasta, sweets and see what happens. If you've gotten better, I think it's a good idea to make sure you're not celiac, as celiac disease increases your risk of infertility as well as cancer. Tip 7. Try probiotics. Probiotics are supplements that contain good bacteria. Sometimes, your gut is being colonized by harmful bacteria or has an excess of bacteria, what we call dysbiosis, when your intestinal microbiota is unbalanced. Taking probiotics sometimes rebalances this. Not all bacteria are created equal, so see what works best for you. Eighth tip, treat constipation. It's very important that you treat constipation. I've already made a video about constipation and it's worth watching if you have constipation. Constipation affects nearly 15% of people, causing symptoms such as infrequent bowel movements, straining, hard stools and bloating. To do this, drink plenty of water, exercise regularly, and slowly increase your fiber intake. Tip 9. Eat smaller portions and limit salty foods. Eating too big a plate can contribute to bloating in two ways. First, large portions can overwhelm the stomach and lead to gas buildup, causing feelings of fullness and bloating. Second, if the food contains indigestible or poorly digestible carbohydrates, the more there are in your colon, the more gas your body will produce. And the salt swells. Reducing your portion sizes and limiting your intake of foods high in salt, such as fried foods, fast food, and chips, can help reduce bloating symptoms. Tip 10. Drink peppermint and ginger tea. There is some evidence to suggest that drinking peppermint tea can help improve symptoms of flatulence. In supplement form, it has been found to reduce symptoms of bloating and distension in people with irritable bowel syndrome. Maintaining a healthy diet, controlling your weight, exercising, and having a properly functioning bowel can help reduce symptoms. If your bloating is caused by specific foods in your diet, avoiding or eliminating those foods may help. And if this is bothering you a lot, look for a doctor and even a nutritionist to try to improve. Remember to subscribe. And until the next video, and leave your like.